Miss Marlene? I hope this works. Oh my goodness. I finally see the avatar moving. This has been a struggle stream. Thank you to everybody who is supporting it. I hope you guys can hear it now. So I'm going to start off from the beginning again because you guys probably heard nothing that I was talking about before. So let's start from the beginning. This is Love Marlene 411, and welcome to today's Sip and Chat. Today we're going to be talking about um, love, true love. Does it really exist? And is it a fairy tale or is it real? Is it a reality or is it fake? Um, and I think it's important to have these conversations because I think people think that love is supposed to look like it looks on TV, where it's all roses and sunshine and it's never anything bad that ever happens. And that's not realistic. It's not realistic to say that it could ever be that way. That's not even sustainable. Every relationship has problems. Every single one. Okay.
Hello, Miss Marlene.
Hello.
Oh, I can hear you now.
Oh,
And you can hear me.
yes, and I can hear you. This has been a this is the struggle. No, I'm gonna say this is the struggle sip and chat.
With a StreamYard, I don't know what's going on, Miss Marlene. I have never had, even my avatar. I cannot even log into it. I cannot even check it. Nothing is working today, and I don't understand why. It's never giving me this headache, ever.
Well, we're not gonna worry about it. We're gonna just focus
Yes,
on today's topic. That's
yes.
what we're gonna do. So, welcome to it, Miss Nexie.
Thank you, Miss Marlene. Thank you so much for being so patient with me. So go ahead and ask your
Okay,
question.
so today we're talking about love, right? And
No, I said ask the question.
yes. Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Miss
oh my Lord! I even
Nexie.
made that noise and everything.
Miss Nexie, what are you sipping on?
A delicious cup of hot coffee,
I
cafe.
don't. Oh, Miss Nexie, I don't know if you heard that the coffee machine brewing in the background. Did you hear that?
Yes, I hear. Who's making coffee? You don't drink coffee, miss.
I know it's my niece. And I was
Mm.
just like, oh, at this time you got to have coffee right at the sip and chat. Okay.
I'm on my way. I'm on my way. That's what I want to tell niece. I'm on my way.
So, Miss Nexie, you're having coffee. Me, I'm just having my water, my plain old water, regular smegular. I'm keeping myself hydrated because it is so hot in Florida.
Very hot. It's very hot, and it's weird because like I I like to walk in the afternoons, and it's kind of like I normally go around 6 so that it's not as hot as it normally gets. But then I have to take a sweater because the minute it's 7 o'clock hits as I'm walking, I start getting super cold. It starts like the breeze coming down and it gets cold, and I'm like, we're in summertime. Why is it cold? There's
Yeah.
no way it should be this cold. But it's weird weather. That's all I gotta say. And I'm glad you're sipping on your delicious water. Today I wanted to cheat. And I said, nope, I'm having coffee.
Good, Miss Nexie. Um, this is a topic today. Today we're talking about fairy tales versus true love.
I'm sorry. Um, whoa, that's a mouthful.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, you know, I think growing up with, the movies we grew up with, I don't think it's as effective as it is today as it was when we were growing up. That fairy tale. ending, and we were gonna marry, and we were gonna have like this beautiful home and happily ever after, right?
Hmm.
I don't think girls are as deceived as we were. Oops, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. I don't think girls are as deceived as we were. I think that, women, not just girls, but, women nowadays, they are a little bit more aware, right? And more
Hmm.
cognizant of, the certain red flags or I don't care about the happily ever after. I'm my own woman, so I don't have to worry about that. I can give myself my happily ever after, right?
Exactly. And
But,
Miss
uh
Nexie, we also have to go on the other side that there are men now who are aware of the women that they get in the relationships with, and they know that they're not in it for love. They're only in it to get money or other things. So, you have to go on both sides too, because
yeah,
I don't discriminate over here. I talk about
they're,
on
they're in
both
it for a
sides.
purpose. Oh no, no, yeah. And again, we can do both, right? We can flip both pages on this. Men are also that grew up in our time, especially my time, are not fools anymore. They're not fooling into I'm gonna marry the Cinderella or that princess or the beautiful. I'm gonna have a home happily ever after for the rest of my life because they're not. It's no longer that. It's no longer the case, I should say. I think both sexes are actually aware of the reality of it. Now, it is, um, my daughters grew up kind of, with watching those movies, but because of the era that they're in, they still laugh at it like, yeah, right, that's not going to happen. I don't need a Prince Charming. I'm my own Prince Charming. So they grew up, kind of like in a new wave of people not really staying together for long. And not just because we had they had a mom and dad growing up, right? Eventually we did split it up and got divorced, but growing up they had a mom and dad. But still they weren't fooling themselves or saying, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be just like mom and dad, right? We're gonna have that marriage. We're gonna have," and it's not a bad thing. I don't think it's a bad thing, Miss Marlene. I think it's something that they're realistic. They don't live in fantasy land. My girls. I'm not talking about anybody else's. I'm talking about my girls. They weren't, fooling themselves that it was going to be easy peasy and I'm married and then I'm going to have all this beautiful life. They knew more about coming into a relationship that hey, it was not going to be easy. It's two people trying to coexist in the same household without unaliving each other.
Yep. Yeah, you have to be realistic and know that it's going to be problems. It's not going to be like like how on the TV you wake up and you look beautiful, and and you have breakfast and you just wake up beautiful, or he wakes up handsome. That's not reality, and it can't be sustained when people want to try to make a relationship be what it's not.
Yeah. And you don't wake up and you have all these servants bringing you breakfast in bed, right? And your house is tidy and your children are non-existent, right? They knew that, realistically, they were not going to be like the movies. As us, at least me growing up, right? I thought, oh my God, I watched Cinderella and I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna be like Cinderella. I'm gonna get my friends and happily ever after, and that's that. People nowadays, men and or women, know that the chances of having a marriage that works depends on both of them, not just one, right? It depends on their character, on how they go about their marriage and how they lived their lives because that's they're compatible. We're not compatible. I'm a morning person. He's a more of a afternoon person. So am I gonna be able to accommodate to the fact that I'm cheerful in the morning and he's more like, you know, a sleepy
Yeah,
bear?
like don't talk to me.
Exactly. So they go in with their eyes wide open. I think that's what it is. That's what I'm trying to say. Not like we did, because when I got married, I thought, oh my God, it's gonna be so beautiful. We're gonna wake up happy every day.
Oh, Miss Nexie, and we're never gonna fight.
Oh no 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 no. You know, my father says if your expectations are that you're never gonna fight, I mean, you, right? There will be fighting. No, I was never going to be that person that didn't talk things through. I didn't expect it to be like all perfect, perfection, but I was going to be so different than any of my friends or my sisters or my brothers and their wives, right? My marriage was going to be so different.
Yeah.
And then reality strikes you, and you understand why your sisters at one point had that, oh my God, dude, seriously? Or why your brother was like, oh my God, I can't stand it here anymore. I gotta get out. You start understanding the reason why people act a certain way. And that happily ever after, yeah, the first year was beautiful because you're
Yeah.
still honeymooning.
Yeah, Miss Nexie, the first year is beautiful because you don't get out of the bed.
Exactly, Miss Martin. And I want to touch a little bit on, because I know that we're talking about, happy, like fairy tales versus reality. But this fairy tale of ours too, I want to touch a little bit on the topic that we had before. Because sometimes when we're in that fairy tale mentality, we miss out on those red flags. I want to bring back that topic because you know how important DV and DA is for me. I know that when we're in that, oh my God, I'm dating and it's the perfect boyfriend, and even though sometimes you see certain things that you're like, oh, why did he act that way? I was just talking to my friend. Or like, why is he calling me 13 times? Like, I just saw him, but you think it's so cute. He called me 13 times. Oh my God, he's texting me all day.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like,
you have this
it's so
unrealistic.
beautiful.
You have this unrealistic expectation because in the beginning, like new love, like you don't have like a reasonable sense of reality, because when you become emotional about somebody and you have these feelings, quote unquote, you're not thinking in a rational way.
No,
You
no,
think.
you're not. And again, you're not. And because, it is, you know, that fantasy of my happily ever after, right? My fairy tale marriage and wedding and family, whatever. When you're there with that you're dating, those red flags that you're supposed to be alert to, which a lot of people are nowadays because social media, we have more awareness as with this is compared to you and I growing up. But me more than you, because I said it before, you're younger than me. But when I was growing up, social media, all we had was a payphone, and if you were lucky, you had a home phone. But you were rich at that point because you had a home phone. But you only had those things. TVs weren't as many news and apps, and we didn't have any of that. So we weren't really aware of certain things that some girls go through with abusive, relationships. So for us, the happily ever after, even though he called 13 times, as I said before, and he texted me 100 times in a span of a day. For me, as a grown woman now and exposed to all this social media, that to me will be a red flag if I see my daughter's boyfriend doing that. And I will bring it up and say, hey, why is he calling you so much? Why is he texting you like 100 texts? You know what I mean? Like, why can't he just let it be and text you at night? Or, I mean, you just left him and he called you 5 times already. You've only been here 15 minutes. You know what I mean? So I know those red flags now. And but when we're dating, we don't really see them, Miss Marlene. We don't because we're in that fairy tale mode, right?
Yes, Miss Nexie. When you're that's what I'm talking about. When you're in that fairy tale where it's like all you can look at is the whatever you only see what you want to see. Oh, you see how beautiful their eyes are and how they talk and you love their voice. And the funny part about the when you're in the fairy tale is about the things on the outside, but then the same things that you liked in the beginning is the same thing later on in real life that drives you crazy. You're like, I cannot stand
You
his voice.
despise. I hate the way he laughs. Oh my god, that little the way, the way he breathes. I just want to stop it for like 5 minutes. Just put my hands in his nose. Yeah, all those things. But Miss Marlena, more than anything, or oh my God, I love it when when he got back home from playing basketball. Oh, he smells so good. You're
Yeah,
like, oh my God,
he
you smell
smells
like a
so fine.
donkey. Get away from me.
Exactly.
But
It's
again, in that fairy tale, Miss Marlene, they are again, they're Prince Charming. We even see him with the little outfit that the Prince Charming has. We're like, oh my God, look at his sword. It's so beautiful, so shiny.
no, Miss Nexie, but what happened to all of this fairy tale? Like it's not real. Like okay, say for instance, we know all the fairy tale storybook things. They live in the castle. They're
Hmm.
rich. They're very rich. They have servants, and you don't hear anything about how do they sustain that lifestyle. Like where do they
Yeah,
go? How did they get this money? And where are the
yeah.
kids? Where are the problems? It's all like
Yeah, where the
dancing
kids?
and
Like,
singing.
do I have nannies in my fairy tale? Because if I do, I'm gonna have 10. Each one of them can have a nanny, and I can just come and kiss them every morning and every night.
Yep. Yep. And that's it. And it's like, wait a minute. When I got older, I was like, what do you mean work? What? Work? That's not in no. I was like, cooking? You don't see
Cinderella
that in this
doesn't work. Oh,
storybook
wait. No,
cooking.
Cinderella does work, but Snow White doesn't work.
Yes. So
Sleeping Beauty is just sleeping
we're
all the time.
Cinderella.
Yeah, the reality is Cinderella, not the castle, and not the prince. When after you get married, you become Cinderella.
Yeah. In the beginning, you're Snow White, but then you become
No, no,
Cinderella.
no. In the beginning, you're like the pumpkin thing, right? You get the beautiful dress, and you get the prince, and then you get married, and then a year later, you're turning to Cinderella, and you're like, "What happened to me? I was the princess. Why am I Cinderella now?"
No, and that's literally you scrubbing the floors by
Dealing with
yourself.
dealing with why can't you put the lid down? Put it down. You see that toilet? It goes up and down. You see the little flap thing? It goes up and down. See that? And why do you have to, when you brush your teeth, why is water everywhere? You know what
So
I mean? Are
so
you an
the
elephant? Do you have a trunk? Do you have a trunk and that's why your water goes everywhere?
yeah. And that's one of the things that like people don't talk about, like preparing younger people for the real life, and like having the conversations like in real life. In a relationship, there's going to be bad breath and hairdos, you're going to get on each other's nerves. Those are the things that you need to be talking to your children and other people before they get to that space, so when they encounter it, they're like, oh yeah, they told I was told this.
Exactly. And you know, I was really, I wasn't like, I had seen all of the, you know, the movies, the princesses and stuff like that, but I was very tomboyish, so I wasn't really into that fairy tale thing. I mean, sometimes I would say, you know what, if I find Prince Charming, whatever, right? Very little, yeah, I was. But as I got older, I wasn't, because my sisters were married and I will see the interaction between the two, the changes, right? Before kids, after kids, and how they changed with each other. And I've known people and friends that, you know, they always say, oh my god, my marriage is so perfect. Like, you know, we've been married for so long, and you know, we get along so well, and everything, we don't argue, we don't fight. But I'm in the outside looking in. And then I feel like saying, of course, you guys don't argue. You don't question anything. You just agree with everything he does. You're secondary in that marriage.
Hmm.
He's first. His kids outside of your marriage are first. Everybody else is first. And then it's you that don't complain. So why is he going to be upset about anything that you don't complain about? You're very complacent. If he says, I'm going to be gone all day because I'm going to be spending it with my other kids, right? And
Hmm.
I'll see you when I do later, you know, leave at home 6 in the morning, come back at 9 at night, and you know, you don't see each other because he's either every day busy with something else or with his kids, but you don't say anything. You're okay with it.
Hmm.
You continue on with that and you go by. Of course, you're not going to fight. Try to say something about those kids or him spending so much time there, and then you're going to see a different side of this person, right? But if you don't argue, if you don't ask for your rightful place next to him, and you don't question why, all this time is spent outside the home and you're not part of that life, and you only get to be seen right before you all go to bed, and then you get up and he's gone. So where is the marriage? That's just a roommate, right?
That's what I've said that for years, Miss Nexie. I always said that if I wanna, if like how people love to talk about splitting 50-50, and it's like if you want somebody to split with, you need to get a roommate, not a wife.
Yes, exactly.
I'm not
E-
splitting nothing. And I mean that
Exactly.
when I say that I'm not splitting nothing. And don't get it wrong, Miss Nexie. I don't mean I will not assist and help, but that is not my role. That's not my responsibility to be able to have everything, because I just think it's ridiculous, Miss Nexie, for them to expect everything to be half
It's
when when
yes,
it comes to the kids and the house and everything. There's no half on that part. There's no half on the
like
household
Miss
responsibilities.
Marlene, we gotta say it. I'm sorry to cut you in, but we gotta say it like Tigger does. It's ridiculous when you expect something like that. I'm sorry. I was Somebody had me watching Winnie the Pooh, Miss Marlene. You have to forgive me on this one. But y- when I was married, you know, I'm divorced now. Anyways, I'm not gonna boast about that. But
Yeah.
when I was married, when my husband and I started our marriage, I was going to school and working. As we
Mhm.
started having our children, you know, my mother-in-law was in another country, but she came to our house and she started living with us. And she said, "If you want to go to work, I'm okay with staying with the kids because I was not gonna leave them leave there with just anyone, right? I
Miss
said,
Miss
okay, I go
Nexie,
to work. When I
Miss
started
Nexie,
working, my husband
Miss
said, I take
Nexie,
a,
you're
oh,
robotic.
I'm sorry.
You sound like a robot.
I know, Miss Martin. Is it, oh, this internet thingy.
Just go
Can
out
you
and
hear me
come back.
okay?
Go out and come back. Hey everybody in the chat. Hey Nate. Hey Sirius. Hey everybody. We're just talking about this topic about fairy tales versus true love. Yes, I'm glad you're doing fabulous and blessed. Hey realists. Welcome back, guys. I didn't expect for you guys to come back. We're not going to be here too long. Just a half an hour or so. When Miss Nexie comes back. I don't know. StreamYard is straight tripping today. It's straight tripping. But we're pushing through and staying consistent and bringing you guys a sip and chat. But yeah, we're talking about fairy tales versus real love. And me and Miss Nexie, I feel the same way like Miss Nexie. I feel that so much people have this idea about what love is, and love is just like on like whatever. They want a wedding, but not a marriage. They want fit material things. They don't want a partner. So they'd rather have the money, they'd rather have everything, but they don't care about, working on the relationship. And I don't think that that's something that can be sustained. It can't be sustained. Like how? How can you sustain the lies? And I know so many people, they are so unhappy because they're looking at social media, or they're looking at TV, or the music that they listen to, and they're expecting for their relationship to be like a song, like a fairy tale, like a book, like a movie, like a TV show, when that's not what reality is. Reality is that there's going to be problems, there's going to be drama, there's going to be negativity, and well, realist, when it comes to StreamYards, I have the free version now. So I can't complain about free. Okay, Miss Nexie's back. Hi, Miss Nexie.
Hi, Miss Marlene. I hope I sound better right now. Oh my God,
Yes,
it's
you do.
very windy here, so it's kind of my internet goes, in and out. But anyway, I don't know. I was talking to you about when I went back to work, right? So my husband said, I take care of the household. He paid all the bills. He says, your money, you can do whatever you want with it. It's for the kids, whatever you want to buy for them, and extra money for vacations, right? And that's exactly what I did, Miss Marley. My money was for our fun vacations and to get my kids and myself whatever I wanted. But he took care of all the
Hmm.
bills.
Yeah,
And
and
that's how we
Miss
keep,
Nexie,
through our entire marriage.
the most important thing about this discussion is for it your relationship to be how you want it to be. And people always have the conversation, oh, somebody shouldn't pay all the bills, and you need to pay half, and you need to do this, and you need to take care of kids. Each person has to come to the conclusion about what they personally want in their relationship. For some, it's the wife staying at home. Some it's the husband staying at home. Some it's you both work part time so that you can spend more time together. It's about what you both wanted out of the relationship, and then making it work and not listening to people on the outside.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the hardest things to do. Again, it's a newlywed. You have all these expectations, right, Miss Marlene? You know this part. You think it's gonna be amazing. You're never going to argue, ever. Excuse me. It's gonna be a perfect union. The house is going to be super clean by both of you, organized by both of you, and it's going to be a perfect life. And I think that a lot of us go into marriage with that thinking. But
Hmm.
as we go in the journey of marriage, we cannot say mine works because this is what we do together, or mine works because we deal with problems different way. Everyone has their own little set of problems, or their own little whatever it is that it makes it go, or boom boom, or it makes it go flat. You know what I mean?
Hmm. The
We
the
cannot rely on anybody else's input, is what I was trying to say. We
Yeah.
have to make our marriages work, not referring it to, oh, my best friend's marriage works because her husband blah 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 blah.
Hmm. Like I said from the beginning, this is a conversation about what Miss Nexie, how it works for her, how things work for me. Everybody's going to have different opinions. People come from different cultures. People have different expectations. But for the most part, I think the reality is real love is based on problems. And and at the end of the day, coming together and with love and with friendship, finding a way to work things out, troubleshooting it and not attacking each other and things like that. That is real life, and that's real love, when you make the choice and the decision to be loyal, to be faithful, to be understanding, compassionate, in the hard times, in the times where like that person's getting on your nerves. Because, like my mom
Mm.
said, and my mom was married 52 years, and she said, you're going to have many years in marriage where you're going to literally, like, I cannot stand him. Okay. And you're going to, or vice versa, I cannot stand her. But what keeps you together is that you formed a friendship before the marriage. That's the difference. That's what keeps you together. Like, you're going to have the personality conflicts. You're not going to agree about things, but at the end of the day, you learn what one does better and you let them do that. And then, finding ways to get along and communicating and growing together as you age. That's what counts. And when
Mhm.
my mom said that, it was like,
Exactly.
oh, it's she said, it's not, don't think you're going to jump into a marriage and it's going to be hot and heavy for the next 60 years.
Yeah, exactly. My father used to say that, marriages work because of, we enter into a union, and it must be of mutual respect, mutual admiration, mutual love, mutual understanding, mutual compassion. And he said, I didn't say individual in any of those things. It has to be both of you working together towards whatever it is that you want to accomplish in the marriage. Now,
Hmm.
we all have different strengths, right? I'm
Yes.
someone that can be, I'm, freeze or flight. I'm flight when it comes to everything except my children. So my husband, let's say, he was flight always, except when it came to me. So we were two different people in two different strengths. And he went all around protection because we were, he was focused on me, making sure I'm okay. I'm focused on our children, making sure they're okay. And that worked for us, and it was hard sometimes because it is. There's a time, and I'm not saying it will be in the first, second, or third year. It's a little bit. It's much later when you come and say, "Why am I married? What am I doing with this? Who is this dude? Right? How do I put up with him?" Or, "Oh my God!" But then once you relax and start thinking, better, you start seeing that, yeah, he has all these other things that I don't like. But if we put it on the in the column of pluses and minuses, I have more pluses than I do minus. So we kind of balance each other out. Of course, there is a point where marriages cannot be, you know, they cannot stay together in some marriages. That is better for both parties involved to dissolve that marriage because it can be catastrophic, right? And again, you don't get to that point in 1 year, 2 years. It takes a while for you to get there. But as long as you can work together, it won't be a fairy tale, let me tell you. It won't. But it can be fun
Hmm. I think that's what I think
and
that's
it
what
can be beautiful.
I think that's what counts the most is trying to find ways to make each other happy. And I think that's what a lot of people forget in a relationship, that it's not just about them and them being happy all the time. You're going to have a lot of times where you're not going to be happy because your husband or your wife isn't happy. And there's no way you can be happy when the person that you're with, that you love, is unhappy. There's no way. But at the same time, you learn to grow together. You learn to be patient with one another. And I think what is a part of the fairy tale thing is that that's unrealistic, that like they don't talk about, like, okay, there's going to be problems. Just because there's a problem, it doesn't mean walk away. It doesn't mean, okay, you're getting older, your husband or wife is getting older, so okay, I'm going to replace you with a new model because you're getting older. No, that's the time where you're like, you can appreciate, we've stuck through things together and things like that I think a lot of people don't understand, that part about commitment and marriage and loyalty, that that's what keeps you together. The all the hard times, all the times where you wanted to give up on something, or you are going through a hard time financially, or a health problem, or grief, or whatever the issue was, maybe problems with the kids and all kinds of issues, but you came together and you're like, it's not easy, but I'm here for you, and they say vice versa, and I'm here for you. That's the reason why people divorce and don't stay together, because when the tough gets going, people just leave instead of working, trying to fight for the relationship, and not just being selfish and thinking, I have to have what I want.
Yes, and Marine, sometimes we have that fairy tale mentality. Like I, I said, oh, I'm getting married now. I'm free. I'm able to go anywhere I want to. I don't have to ask, my dad for permission. Ooh, I'm a grown up now. I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna go have fun with my friends, right? I'm gonna get, we're gonna go to the beach. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. And then, in my fairy tale mind, that was going to be okay because I was not going to be under, my dad's, ruling, and I didn't have to ask anyone for permission. So I was just going to live life in a beautiful fairy tale marriage, and I was going to go out with my friends, and, that was going to be it.
Mhm.
So when you get married and then you're like, okay, I'm here now, but I have to cook, right? I have to clean, and then you'll make plans like, oh, okay, so you're going to work, yeah. So what are you gonna do all day? Oh, I'm gonna be here, and then you call your friends, and they're like, oh, we're somewhere. You're married, so we didn't ask you because we didn't think you were gonna be able to go, and you start getting that. Oh, so I'm not free. I can't go anywhere I want to. I can't do anything I want. You come from one. I don't know. And for me, it was kind of like a shock that I wasn't out and about like I thought I was going to be because because I wasn't under my father's roof.
Hmm.
So
And I,
yeah, that was a fairy tale for me.
yeah,
A fairy tale moment for me, Miss Marlene. A fairy tale moment.
yes. And I think for me too, Miss Nexie, I think that what is unrealistic part of the fairy tale is expecting for things to be perfect and that there's never going to be problems and
Mm-mm.
you're going to be young forever and
Oh yeah. Oh no no yeah. And Miss Marlena, again, my fairy tale mind, because we can call it that too, is that I was free, right? I was out of my father's house, and I was grown. I was gonna be able to go out and about as I wish, as I please. And then you find out that that's not the case, and that's when the problems start, because you feel that, hey, I'm free now, right? I can do whatever I want. I'm grown, but you really can't do whatever you want because you have somebody else to answer to, and that person answers to you as well, because of mutual respect, which is when all the things that my father told me came to pass. Is that, hey, I understand now. It took many years, of course, to get to this point, but I understood that what he meant, when he said it's a union of everything mutual. It cannot be an individual. Like, yeah, I'm marrying you, but I'm gonna still go on and live my life as I please. You can't do that, because if that is the case, then you're better off alone.
yeah, it's like stay
That way
single.
you don't hurt this other person.
But that's what a lot of
I
people
expected for,
go ahead, Miss Nexie.
oh, no, 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 Miss Marlene, I was waiting for you. I was waiting for you. Go on.
Oh, I was gonna say that I think a lot of people they go into marriages because they see other people getting married. They read these fairy tale books, and you see how people put so much emphasis on the marriage. Like, I mean, the wedding. I mean, oh, it's the dress, it's the parties, it's the fun, but it's not realistic because after you say I do, then it's going to be dishes, it'll be laundry. It's the reality that people don't understand, that you have to face reality afterwards.
Exactly. And you see, and Miss Marlene, don't forget, they do the dress and this and the honeymoon, right? You have that beautiful honeymoon that you're gonna go and you have all this and you see all those things and you're like, oh my God. And after coming from that honeymoon, it's gonna continue on here in the house. We're gonna be on that beach for the rest of our marriage. we, oh, and all the vacations,
Unrealistic.
right? Unrealistic, yes. And you come home after that honeymoon, and then yeah, it still remains, like I said, for a few years. But then reality starts popping. Like, okay, we've been together for 2 3 years, and you still don't know how to put your socks in the hamper, right? In the dirty clothes hamper. Why do I have to pick them up from, or your towels? You just use them and throw them on the floor of the bathroom, by the bathtub or whatever. You don't hang them, you don't dry them, you just throw them there, and I have to pick them up, right? So all those things start coming up. And why are you leaving, cups and glasses everywhere with, half empty drinks, or, dirty and spoons everywhere? So you start seeing reality.
Yep.
And that's when, fantasy meets reality.
Yep.
Fairy tale meets real
I,
life.
I want to read the comment of realist. Yep, hit that right on the head. They ain't thinking about nothing after the glam of it. That's what they focus on. And like my mom used to always say, people focus on the wedding and not the marriage. They don't even like.
Yep.
Do you even know who you're marrying? Do you do you even know what they're about? What, like, are
Yeah,
you guys
Prince
go
Charming. He owns
together?
that
Do you get along? Like,
Prince Charming, and he owns that castle. Prince Charming, Miss Marlene, he owned a castle, and he had, beautiful, beautiful outfits. So I knew who I was getting married to. I didn't wake up to that one, but in my mind, that's who I was marrying, Prince Charming.
And Miss Nexie, and that's the problem, feeling that people are something that they're not. And I can say for me too, Miss Nexie, you neglect to have certain conversations because of expecting, because of a fairy tale, or having the unspoken conversations, like feeling, oh, they're gonna fall into this mode, okay, after marriage this is how it's going to be, and they're going to do this, and they're going to do, oh, but all the stuff that they did before to irritate me, that will all stop because they love me, because that's me, that's my husband, that's my wife. Oh yes.
Yeah.
And they worship the ground I fall on, because I'm a fairy tale princess, or I'm a prince.
Also, Miss Marlene, you remember, oh, when he used to come pick me up, he'll open the car door for me, right? He will normally have my favorite drink in the car. And we will go to my favorite restaurants every time he came over to pick me up. Or every time, her and I will go out. We will hold hands. That that doesn't stay that way because now it's two people living in the same household, the same apartment, in the same whatever it is that you're living in. Now, why do I have to get you that coffee? I'm not picking you. You live here. All right, let's go get it. The car door. Yeah, sometimes you're rushing. You get out. Let's go. You're one now, so I don't have to impress. And a lot of people, male and female, expect those things that when we're dating to continue as we get married. That is not always the case. I'm not saying that that doesn't happen. Some people do still continue to do certain things, right? That they used to do when they were dating, but it doesn't stay the same as that we're gonna go to the movies every Saturday like we used to when we were dating. That we're gonna go out to eat 3 times a week when we were dating because now we have a house that we're responsible for. We have rent that we both have to pay, right? That we're responsible for. We have to fill in the refrigerator with food that we both eat. We have to pay gas on both cars because we both go to work. So all those things that we used to do prior to us getting together, being married, and living in the same household, all those things cannot continue to happen because then, the money runs out. We have more like so. I feel that sometimes that is why a lot of people, end the marriages 2, 3 years into it because they're like, yeah, no, this is not who I was dating because you don't marry your boyfriend, you marry your husband
Hmm.
or your wife, not your girlfriend.
Yeah, people don't understand that there's going to be way more waking up with the hair all over the place, and then there's going to be pounds that will be added to the body, and and there's going to be a lot of aggravation and getting on each other's nerves. But the whole thing about it is people need to spend more time getting to know somebody. But at the end of the day, like, how do we treat one another when there's a problem? Can we lean on one another? And for me, that is what the marriage should be based on. How do we support each other? How do we communicate and get through things together, instead of focusing on, oh, the vain things, like, oh, I don't want her anymore because she gained 20 pounds, but then they gained 50 and have a beer belly, and you're like, really? Okay.
for me, for me, I think it's more Miss Marlene, because I've seen it happen so often. at work. I work with we work with a lot of people, so we hear things here and there. And when I hear that, they gonna marry in this beautiful setting to Prince Charming, and they're gonna be living happily ever after, I laugh because the way I look at it, when I listen to what they're saying, right, and the reason why they're marrying this person is not even because um he or she is kind, is giving, is perfect hostess, or it's so good to you know other people, or parents, or whatever. It's more vain. Oh my God, she's so hot, or he's so hot. Oh my God, he wears this beautiful clothing, or she wears this amazing outfits. And she often likes to dine in these different areas, and she always smells so good. They're not focusing on the things that matter. So when I hear some people about to get married, or newlyweds, going on the reasons why they got married and how they feel their future is gonna go, I laugh, because I'm like, that is not what's gonna happen. And you're gonna find out in a couple of years, when that little mask falls off. If it's not before, you're gonna find out that that's not exactly what you should be thinking of when you're gonna marry that person. Look at how they treat, their parents, what they do for that community, how they deal with other people's children, how they deal with, you know, their nieces and nephews, or whatever it is that you have to focus on that. Is he my equal when it comes to certain things? But they don't. It's all superficial. And I think that's why sometimes marriages don't work out.
Yep. You see what I put in the chat, Miss Nexie? Um, I
No,
pl-
I
I pl-
haven't.
I plan on wearing my pajamas to my wedding. Might as well give them the real thing. Like, why be fake? Why dress up? You know,
Hey,
show
hey,
up.
James. Hi, Realist.
Yeah,
Hi, Nate.
show up in your bonnet, and then see if they still want to marry you.
If that's
You
the
know,
case, I'm wearing my pajamas to your wedding too.
no, that I welcome it. I want it to be a pajama party.
We all gotta go in pajamas. Come on, people.
Yep.
This, see, honey, that's your white dress that you thought I was gonna. No, this is who you're marrying.
Yeah, it's gonna be a pajama suit or something.
A
It's like,
bonnet.
yeah, with my
Oh,
bonnet.
and a face mask. Those little white ones that you put.
Yes, no, I may just put, what's that mud mask. Put that on before I go down
Oh,
the aisle.
you still want to marry this, honey? Because
Yeah,
if you still say that you love me, then let's do this thing.
yeah, and I'll come down the aisle scratching myself. Yeah.
Miss Marlene, my
Hey,
God.
hey, be real,
My
guys.
goodness.
Be real. You might as well give people, like, there ain't gonna be no fakeness. Like, you better know what you're getting into, cause I'm gonna give you the real.
Imagine if that was the case. Oh yeah, that's it. This is who I am. I'm gonna show up with my little apron on, and
Mm-hmm.
my hair on a little bun on top.
I
All
feel
this
like that.
travel.
I feel like it would be so much better, just like have something, like make people come, and then, like, in the backyard, everybody show up in your pajamas, around, 7 p.m. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then, okay, it's done, guys, and eat a little food, and then you go back inside because you're already comfortable. You don't have to worry about taking off no dress
Yeah,
and all this stuff, buying anything. Just wear the pajamas that you have. And I plan on wearing, your comfortable one that got the hole in
of
it.
course.
Yeah,
Yes,
perfect
those.
for a wedding. Perfect.
Yeah, the ones that you love the most, which are really faded because you wear them so much, but they are perfectly for your body. They're just made for you. Yeah, those are the ones we're gonna wear with holes everywhere, and we're gonna
Hmm.
take them to the honeymoon too.
Yes. And I'm gonna be like, I'll tell my husband, I'm be like, and you make sure the drawers that you wear, it has holes. It has holes in it because yeah, I want the real, like, I don't know, Miss Nexie. I'm just a different person.
I think that, once you go through life, you start seeing exactly what works and doesn't work for you. And I feel that, you know, when we get married young, we don't understand, right? We cannot see because we're not old enough to kind of analyze what marriage is all about or it will be all about. We're just in that moment of happiness, of euphoria, that everybody's going to see you marrying this person. And, all that happiness, and it's going to continue on for the rest of your life. And yeah, you can be happy. It's not going to be the same as the day you married this person. It can be a little bit more, probably more love because you have lived more life with this person, but you're not going to be able to romanticize your entire marriage like that. There's going to be ups and downs. And that's the one thing that people don't understand is that there's going to be a lot more downs that there is ups because it's two people trying to coexist in one place
Yeah.
without unaliving one another. Did I lose you, Miss Marley? Oh no, Miss Marley.
I'm
Oh, there.
here.
Oh, sorry, I'm
I
sorry.
was
I'm telling
I
you, my
I was I
interwebs.
was I was in the clouds.
Thinking about your pajama wedding.
Yeah. I no, I seriously, and my whole family says, "Oh my God," because they know I'm serious. I've talked about this for years. That's what I want. I want everybody to show up in some nice pajamas, and then we dance, we have fun, you eat, and then you don't have to worry. Whenever you get back to the hotel, everybody can just go in bed. I feel like I think it's a good trend. Like it's real. Don't have to waste money on a dress and all this mm, foolishness. Yeah, just got your pajamas on and go to bed. Uh-oh. Miss Nexie, are you still there?
Oh yes, I'm here, Miss Marley. Did you see what
Oh,
real is? Oh no,
yeah.
not again. He says
I
the
hear you.
pajamas make it easier for the honeymoon. And look at
I know
James,
I
new
saw that.
business, freaky wedding planners. Yes, James, we will. And people, you're welcome to it. Come on. We can set you up for the best wedding ever with
You know the best
the
wedding.
sleepy sides,
You know the best wedding I ever went to. It rained so terrible. It was like a storm, and that was the best wedding we ever went to because everybody we just like forget it, forget all this, and we were they were playing the music and we were dancing in the rain. Everybody was dripping wet, and we laughed, and the bride and the groom and they were dancing and stuff like that's reality. It's not going to be a perfect sunshine day, and they made the best of it. And I feel like that really was a determining factor about how their relationship will be. There's going to be obstacles, and it's how you deal with it. Make the best of everything.
Yeah,
Mhm,
I'm telling you, God was telling them, and it gotta be sunshine, gotta be pouring here, people.
mhm.
No, the best wedding I ever went to, it was, I think, oh God, it was years ago. And they had it in a ranch. And they own a ranch and they had it there. There were picnic tables. They put like five or six picnic tables together. And they just set everybody around. Somebody came over and married them. It wasn't a big deal. It was more of the it It was more like a celebration, like a birthday rather than a wedding. They had a lot of food, yeah, a lot of booze. Then they had horses waiting so that we could all take off, to do some horseback riding. It was only like 50 people in the wedding. It was only like 50 of us. And we went horseback riding after the ceremony. We ate after the ceremony. We ate, and then because it was early in the morning, like probably 9 or 10, and then we went horseback riding for the whole afternoon. Then we had a picnic somewhere up there, and then we came back, and then we continued the celebration at night. And everybody, went to their rooms, and then in the morning we had like another breakfast, and then they were gone to their honeymoon. No white wedding dress, nothing like that. Just a regular dress, and he was wearing jeans and a shirt, and that was it.
Miss Nexie, if I can't have something that is a normal wedding, I've never believed in all of that. You know, dress and you got to do your nails, you got to do your hair, you got to have this done, you got to have a limo, you got no. I My favorite would be to have everybody go wear their bathing suits. That's another one that I said too. My family's like, oh God, we're screwed.
James, you're right. We are going on that direction with this woman here. The freaking wedding planners.
Hey, I like the bathing
But
suit one, and I like the pajamas. That's my favorite so far. Hmm.
I'm
Yeah.
not sure about the bathing suit one because there's some people in my family that I do not want to see on a bathing suit. I don't. I really
Oh,
don't.
Miss Nexie, I have to approve it. Yeah, I have to say, oh, what are you wearing? Oh, yeah, you're definitely getting a cover up. Most definitely.
You're definitely not coming to my wedding on that.
I think
Kick
that
him
would be
out.
so much fun to have a wedding like like a barbecue type of wedding. That would be the best. Hmm. Yep.
Yeah, my one of my best friends, they got married in her sister's backyard. They We did a luncheon, and then they took a month-long honeymoon. They didn't spend on anything. Like it was just a regular, backyard wedding, and she was dressed in a nice dress, nothing fancy. He was in a tux, not a tux, but like a business suit attire. Beautiful pictures. We had the dinner. We had a fun, and the next day they went on a month-long honeymoon. They used all of the money for that wedding, the 5-tier cake, and all that thing. They used all of that to take a month-long honeymoon.
Oh, Miss Nexie, I got one better than that. The one that I went to, they did not request any gifts. They had a GoFundMe to pay for like different things, like a cruise and a Hawaii and go here. So they kept extending it. Whatever people paid for, their gift was time together on a honeymoon. So
Oh, wow.
the guests we paid for their honeymoon. Like, and it's not anything like big deal like 2 nights at this hotel, 3 nights on a 3 day cruise. You know, simple things, and people paid for different packages. So when it was all said and done, they had like 7 different trips for their honeymoon.
Oh, wow. That sounds fun.
Hmm. So they
That you
didn't
all
want
pay for
gifts;
it.
they wanted time together.
That's yeah, no. My best friend didn't do that. They just had like a regular, like I said, backyard wedding, and they saved all of their money for the wedding to go on a month-long honeymoon. I was like, "Oh, that sounds cool."
Yeah.
And that's what they did. But
Uh,
I've heard of weddings 70,000, 150,000, 500,000. I'm like, what on a wedding?
Miss Nexie, look what Nate put in the chat.
What do you say? What do you say?
He said, "I'm getting married in a bodega."
Nate, I'm coming to your wedding. Marlene, RSVP on that one. We're
Oh
coming
yeah,
to Nate's
I
wedding.
want to. I want to go to one that they have unlimited like wings and fries and stuff. That's my like. Listen, Miss Nexie, I don't know about you, but sometimes you'll go to a wedding and it's like you literally have to wait the whole day to get this meal, and then the meal stinks, and it's like
Yes.
I would have rather gone and got a pizza or something. It's just like this is whack. It's like you're literally starving and you're in this beautiful gown and everybody looks so pretty and everybody is hungry.
Yeah, no, I went to a wedding and they you had to pick what you wanted it, right? So I did. And then when they brought the plates over, like, we finally got to sit down and we're like literally, like you said, starving. And I see the portions and I'm like, I don't think maybe I should have picked the other thing they were offering. And then I looked at the person on my left and he had ordered what I was thinking of switching. I was like, oh no, I'm happy I picked this. The portions were so small. And I was like, man, what time are they gonna give the cake? And then they cut the cake and then they passed it on and I was like, oh my god, this is I
Yep.
was so hungry. We went to eat afterwards.
Oh, Miss Nexie, the best one was one we went to, and it was so funny because they didn't pay for any food. In the South, that's how it is. Like all of the aunties on both sides of the family, Miss Nexie, there was so much food that everybody had to take a to-go bag after.
Wow, that is awesome.
Like, I mean, because
See, Nate, you better
it's
do
like
that in your bodega wedding.
yeah, it's like everybody brought, and you don't have to have a lot, like three or four, like everybody bring like two bottles of wine, and then there's sodas, there's drinks, there's juice, there's, and then you have like several kinds of cakes and pies and everything. And by the time it all is put together, Miss Nexie, it's more food than anybody could.
It's like an all you can eat
Yeah, it's like
type
all
of
you can,
wedding.
but it tastes good because it's homemade stuff.
It's
It's
homemade.
yeah.
Exactly.
I don't
Yeah.
know, Miss Nixie.
I
I don't.
went to a destination wedding a few years back, and they had all you can eat seafood, and of course they had a
Mm.
few dishes for people that are vegetarians or vegans, right? They had their own little thing, but it was all you can eat seafood. And so I had the greatest time ever. So good. And but it was just like the same thing. It's like a couple of days and we went to this place. It was very remote but very beautiful. And they decided to have their honeymoon at the same place. So they didn't. That's why it was all you can eat, because they didn't have to spend a lot of money on the honeymoon. They just stay there for the next 2 weeks. But it was so good, Miss Marlene,
Oh.
because all different, and it wasn't just like one type. Like they had shrimps made in three different ways or four different ways, and fish in different, it was so delicious. It was so delicious. I like that one.
Oh, that sounds wonderful, Miss Nixie.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
I,
you like seafood, huh?
yeah, I thought Nate put in here that he was getting married at the Hershey Chocolate Factory, but he said Hershey Park.
If it's gonna be at the Hershey,
I
the
I
Hershey.
that one I would be on board. I was like, all you can
Oh,
eat chocolate,
I'm
yes.
coming. Yeah, I'm going to our SVP for that one too, Nate.
Hmm. I was like, you go to some places sometimes, and it's like they spent literally thousands of dollars, and you can't even get a glass of water.
Oh, Miss Marlene, I went to one wedding that they had done. They had gone out and about. They probably spent about about $80,000 on the wedding, but the booze you had to buy. So you could have any like sodas, any kind you wanted, but if you wanted alcohol beverages, you had to pay for them. It didn't
Yeah.
come with the wedding package.
Oh, Miss Nexie, you don't have to worry about that because you'll be invited to my wedding, and it's gonna be what is it? Bring your own brown bag.
A free for all.
I was like, okay, before the wedding, stop and get your 40.
Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm sure James is probably thinking right now. She's gonna bring that tequila she gave away.
Yeah, everybody bring your own, and and bring it, and it's gonna be plastic cups. It's gonna be what they say, ghetto fabulous. Yeah.
Nate said, "Don't encourage my madness." Roller coaster wedding. What the heck?
No, he gets
No,
you get married. You say I do, and then the roller coaster
Miss
turns over
Marlene.
backwards.
Nate is brilliant. He's gonna have a roller coaster wedding because that's exactly what marriage life is about. It's a roller coaster.
Yep. They say you're ready, before you even close your seatbelt, it takes off.
That's what married life is. What it's gonna be like roller coaster. So he's brilliant. He's getting used to his married
That's
life.
smart, Nate. I like that one. Mhm. Well, Miss Nexie, this is a good topic. We're going to bring it to an end. We had fun. I'm glad that we decided to come back and do the topic because this has been fun.
It has been. I'm sorry I was late and I was over there with dealing with StreamYard, but here we are. Miss Marlene, again, thank you for having me.
Yes.
And hopefully we can try what we were, next week, what we're trying to do today.
Mhm.
But again, thank you for having me and giving me space on your lives. Really appreciate it.
Yes. And me and Miss Nexie, we do these topics not to tell anybody what to do, but just to tell everybody, don't get wrapped up in, you know, uh buying this and having this fancy wedding, and then like 1 week after the wedding, you're like, I cannot stand this person, and you're already trying to file divorce papers.
Don't get wrapped up in the materials.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you marry the right person, the right partner. That's the whole point because we when you marry for material gain or goods, um, you never you're not gonna be happy
Nope.
because you're still gonna have to live with this person that you don't even care for, but because you love the lifestyle, now you're stuck.
Yep.
But
But
yeah, marry
my mom
for
would
the
say,
right things.
you're stuck like Chuck.
Yes, ma'am. Well, bye everyone. Thank you for supporting Miss Marlene. Don't forget to press the like and subscribe if you haven't. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah. Look at this is how I know this is a shenanigans live. Nate says I'm getting married at the NFL draft. I'm done. We're
We're
done.
done. That's it.
That's it. Bye.
James says coffee time now. Yes, James, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. He said, and to stay married, don't give the tequila away.
Yes, that leads to divorce. Trust me, people, that man wanted to divorce me that day.
Yeah. Don't give the tequila away if you want to keep your spouse.
Yeah, don't give away his tequila unless he tells you not to. But if you don't know that you're not supposed to, then you're not at fault. It's not
Yeah,
your
it's not
fault.
your fault, Miss
See how I
Nexie.
worked that? See how I worked that
Hmm.
towards my benefit?
Yep, I agree, Miss Nexie. Great sip and chat. Thanks everybody for coming, and see you guys next week. I think next week I'm gonna try to go back to YouTube because this ain't
This is
working.
getting crazy. Yes, you
Yeah.
too.
All right, bye guys. See you guys
Bye,
next
everyone.
week.
Thank you for coming. Bye, James. Bye, Nate.
Bye.
Bye, Realist. Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye,
Sirius.
Miss
Bye,
Marlene.
James. Bye, Nate. Bye,
Bye,
Realist.
Siri.
Bye, Nexie. Bye, me.
Bye, you.